Every day, thousands of people use the ferry as means of transportation to come to school, work, and on their daily activities. But with this, most cases, the water safety issues and measures are often underlooked, and this brings us to the risk of drowning. Today I come with you with two experts, that is a district health officer and a crew member who is always on water day in day out, so that they can tell us what is happening, what are the challenges, and what needs to be done. This podcast is for you to listen and understand, but it is for specifically our leaders who are in position to make a change for everyone in this community. Today we're at Bukakata. I'll give our dearest guests a chance to introduce themselves and we'll kick off this conversation. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam. Nice being here. I'm the assistant district officer for Masaka District Law Government. Nice being here.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. I work with Kalangal Infrastructure Services Limited, and that is the company that runs these ferries as we saw them. And I'm a part of the deck crew.
I'll start off with our Assistant District Health Officer. How big of a public issue is drowning in this district, and what data do we have on it?
Drowning was part of the aggregated data that was hard to segregate or to understand how impactful it is. But with the awareness that was created by Rich Hand, we were able to appreciate that it is a challenge, because it was hard to, you find that there were different stakeholders involved in getting this data, but it was discovered that most of this data was much segregated, much with the police marine than in our system.
Okay.
But efforts are now underway so that we can be able to segregate this data, to have it at least streamlined and reported. Otherwise, there are so many cases that are happening that we are able to hear about and probably even to follow up. Yet in our system, are not part of our system that are recorded in our.
Okay, so but now there is that alignment to see that now.
That data has been, at least it comes out clearly and is input in the system. Well
noted. How long have you worked on the water transportation?
So far it is 4 years working.
Interesting. And what has been your experience in these 4 years? Can you just outline for us the experience of being on water day in, day out, and the risks that you've seen and challenges?
Yeah, just like any other career, this is a career that involves being a little bit more careful because we are working on water. And then the good thing is that there are measures in place, we have guidelines, and once we follow, then we minimize the risks. So basically, for the years I've been, we've not seen any.
Is there any major experience that you can't forget during this whole process that you've been working on water, but even when measures are there, but it once happened and you feel like it's something you would want to share and we get to understand on it?
Basically, there are things you can't control. For example, when it comes to weather or natural happenings. For example, I'll talk about wind or waves. For someone who is a first timer, it may be a very traumatizing experience. But as I said, in 4 years, you'll get used to it.
So what are the most common causes of drowning after getting this collection that you've seen? And now what is being done after knowing those causes?
We've tried to enlighten our healthcare personnel so that as they enter this data, they clearly put it to where it's supposed to be in our record books. Because before it was all aggregated and it was hard to know which particular maybe
segment belongs to drowning. Yes.
So, but now at least we are able to know that probably these are the numbers that are probably coming out of drowning.
So, with those numbers known, what are the main causes for this? If now we have the numbers, what are the main causes that are leading to these numbers to be availed?
They are quite a number, and I think outstanding of them is maybe the inability to be able to swim. Because we find that the recent cases we had were just even not in the lake, but we were even in a pit sand dishes which were left uncatered for. So this is where the young children are going to probably have a swim or just having a play and then end up swimming. So they end up drowning.
Okay.
So you find that had they had the skills of
swimming,
of course maybe they would have probably survived that catastrophe. And again, the livelihood of our people here, even because we are a district of the lake. So people find most of the activities done
Around
lake
the
shore.
lake, yeah.
That is from fishing. Some hot even water from the lake. Some even do the washing of clothes from the lake. Some even send the children to go and fetch water. So you find that all that exposes these people to the possibility of drowning. And you find that if I'm giving an example of fishing, almost all fishermen, if I can say by percentage, maybe 95% don't have these gears, the life-saving jackets. So they go live in the what?
In the
In the water. So the possibility of them not surviving that happens whenever they are is really high. And most of them, I don't think even none has any skills in swimming, because they come from different locations. If you are to get there, you find that some are coming from the north, some from the east, some from actually there could be even none, even very few coming from the central here, because you find that they are matlingo, speaking different languages, coming to say shorter, but again they end up
Really
staying longer.
Yeah.
So even having children over here, and then life continues like that.
For the crew member, what safety measures are currently in place for passengers and crew? And do you think they are enough, or there are some more that you would want to see part?
For the crew, normally for anyone to work on ship, it is a requirement to have training. Basically in life, in your own, first of all, to save your own life. Because if you can't save yourself, you can't save somebody else, you know. Normally, as a requirement, you should have a personal survival techniques certificate for your own survival. Not just swimming, it encompasses a lot of survival techniques. But swimming is a very big part of it, because you're going to be working on water. Yeah, so as a crew, you should have that. Everybody should have that. Yeah, then when it comes to people, our passengers, our ships are equipped. Yeah, because we should have life jackets, and they should have the same. We should actually have more jackets than the persons we are carrying. Then we have life buoys, those rigid ones you saw, plastic. We also have life rings. For example, someone slips over. Yeah, so the ships are equipped, and the crew is trained, because we normally do drills for that. Man overboard, that is when maybe you're walking on the deck and you slip and fall. We normally do that drill, and at least we carry out 4 drills every month. Yeah, so the crew is prepared.
Are there any other measures that you would want to see be available, but they're not because of some circumstances? But you feel that if they are on board, it will be even best for your safety and that of the passengers?
Yeah, basically, what I think would be better is if people, for example, people in the island, I want to re-echo what he said, if people had the skills. Because in most cases, what kills most people is not actually the water, it is the flight. Like the moment there is an emergency, it is very hard to tell someone to calm down.
Yeah, the fear is the most.
Yes, because he knows that the moment I step in water, I'm dead. Even if it is just to sustain yourself for 2 minutes on water, or 1, or even 30 seconds. If I know that once I fall in, I'm not going to die immediately, then I'll have the confidence to maybe to wait for rescue. I'll have the confidence maybe to, you understand.
Thank you so much. Are there existing public health initiatives addressing drowning prevention here as of yet?
With government provides the basics of reserve delivery that are universal, depending on what circumstances that probably prevails. For instance, now in case of any drowning, first of all, it requires the marine to superintend the lake, and that is the only straightforward intervention. But in case drowning happens, and maybe they require any emergency services, here at Masaka district have a health facility. But again, also as the regional, we have a regional referral just in 30 minutes, in a 30-kilometer distance from here.
Echo what needs to be done by the government for the people to see that their safety is at priority.
Yeah, basically, I'll talk about 2 things. One is to increase public awareness about the risk, because the lake is a hazard. Like everybody who gets on the lake. there's already a hazard just around you that anytime you can drown. So probably it takes one to realize your vulnerability, take action. If they could also have a mechanism of having this coxswain is the one are people who drive the what? Who drive the boat. If it could be a requirement that before any licensed boat to be allowed to sail on the lake, they should have maybe a safety certificate. So that could be the start. I will look forward to having everybody having a skill of swimming.
Thank you so much. To you, the crew member, what are the biggest risks people face while they're on the ferry? The biggest, just a risk where you be like, this is a risk, it can happen, but when it happens, this can be done. What are the biggest?
Always the biggest risk of a ship is sinking. That is always the biggest. So maybe to clarify a little bit, the reason why people do not get life jackets is because we do not just wake up and sail. There are always inspections, there are always checklists to confirm that this vessel is able to carry the people. And the reason why I say that everything is available and on standby, because we have procedures for everything. That's why, like I said earlier, we do drills. We have what we call a master station, where we all go, line up, and then receive instructions, because we know that during this and this drill, so and so should be here. As long as we are moving under procedures, we can save as much life as possible.
If you could ask for one major change to improve safety on the ferry or on the ship, what would that be? To the people, to the government?
If I'm to ask the government, then it should be maybe more rescue center around the lake. Because so far the one I know is in Entebbe, which is quite a distance from here.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
If you had a direct message to the leaders in government, what would you urge them to do immediately as the Assistant District Health Officer, based on what you've seen and what you know is taking place here?
So I think it's important that maybe at this time that we should, the government or the leaders should implement the water safety policies and enforce the regulations. And putting in mind that anybody who gets on the lake should probably move safely by first of all moving in a safe vessel, and two, putting on appropriate protection so that in case of anything, someone can be able to be rescued. Yeah, as we look at other long term, because if you talk about training might clearly take time, and maybe even commitment for the people to take up that might take time. But at least because we are used to all regulations, just like you drive the car, there are always traffic officers on the road.
As we have heard from our guests of the day, from the Assistant District Health Officer, he has emphasized to the people in the government to appreciate drowning and see to it that the policies that are there are well implemented and just not leaving them in words, but let's see action coming on board. And I will re-echo what the team crew of the ferry said. Let's have more of the rescue centers. If we are to rescue people in case of drowning that happens, we have to cross all over to Entebbe. Is that where we need to be? So this is a question going back to the people in power and the leaders that we have, to see to it that we have different rescue centers, and to see to it that all our policies are being implemented. As we have had these conversations, it's just to enlighten, but also to be more of a wake-up call to all our people and to inform you that drowning is real and we need to work upon it as soon as possible. I remain Elizabeth Nanziri and we are in Bukakata.